This is John Ott from Sports and the D. I want to welcome you into another old school classics video. This is NBA Hangtime on the Sega Genesis. And the reason I want to play this video today and show you a quick playthrough of it is just because it was one of my favorite basketball games of all time. Everybody knows about NBA Jam. You know, there was a lot of NBA Jam clones out there, and you know, this game quickly gets dismissed as one of those. But being made by Williams Entertainment, same makers of Mortal Kombat and some of the other systems that you know and love, comes a basketball game. And when you really think about it from that perspective, it does seem odd and out of place. But I played this game a lot in the arcades when it was initially out, so when there was a chance for it to be ported to the Sega Genesis, you know, I really enjoyed it, because in this game you have the basic NBA Jam style gameplay. You have the 2-on-2, and you just try to make sure that if the opponent, like I did there, I got Grant Hill and Otis Thorpe as the CPU teammate, that if the computer makes it, you want to goaltend their shots so they don't get on fire. You make 3 shots in a row, you get on fire. You get 3 alley-oops in a row, you get team fire, which lasts for about 20 seconds, which allows you guys to make just crazy shots from crazy distance. And the computer up here is all the way up on the difficulty. Because basically in games past, the AI was never as good. It could not catch up to you as much, and basically to compensate from that, a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but the AI will abuse or cheat as much as it can in order to try to make up the score. So in an effort of having that happen, you got to get out to a first quarter lead, and basically in this game you can press the A and C to push to try to knock the opponent off the ball, or you can press C to just steal, B shoots, A is your turbo. If you use A and B, turbo and the shot, you get a higher arc on the jump, which allows you to make shots at a higher clip if you get a chance to do that. If you double tap the A button, you will do a spin move, which is good for guys that like to try to steal the ball from you. And pretty much if you run toward the basket with A and press B, you can dunk. The type of dunks that are given to you depends on your player's dunk rating. Pretty much when I play this game, I almost always pick the Detroit Pistons because I get a chance to use Grant Hill. And basically around this time, I think it was a year later, or maybe even at the same amount of time that this game came out on the 32X. I think it was the Sega CD 32X for NBA Jam. And around that time when NBA Hangtime was out, you were able to use a all-rookie team that consisted of Jason Kidd and Grant Hill, along with the other rookies that were in there. And that was the only other year that you had co-rookies of the year in the same season. And that was probably one of the most fun lineups to use. So in order in this game to try to counter what the computer is doing, you're going to want to push, and you're going to want to try to steal as much as you can. And like I said, I'm already trying to goaltend or block as many shots as I can. Grant Hill's not the most defensively oriented in terms of blocking shots, but you can definitely get rebounds and do everything else that you need to do. He's pretty much a 5-tool player as far as the game is concerned. And when you get to the half, you know, the more times that you get pushed, the more times that you end up getting knocked on your ass, the computer takes the ball from you, you see a little injury mark. And you'll see that when we end the first half here. The halftime break allows you to switch players, and quite honestly, it's very effective for the CPU if you're playing one player, because you can sub them out and bring somebody in that can give you some more offense, because the more injured you get in terms of that attribute, the less likely your shots are going to go in, you're going to be slower, you're going to have just a lot of fatigue and stuff like that against you. So that's how it kind of compensates for the fatigue. So at the halftime, you really do want to switch players for the CPU. Now basically for me, being the Pistons here, Grant Hill's the best player that is on the roster, so by no means am I taking him out of the game. I'm going to use him the whole way through. Even though my three-point shots might not be as effective, you'll see as we go along farther into the game that I try to go for more inside shots, whether it be layups or dunks. See how I missed that layup? I got hit enough times where I tried to attempt to dunk, but I'm injured to the point where I need the halftime break a little bit, but I also can't dunk and do everything else effectively because I've been pushed. So, a couple other interesting notes about this game as we're on the subject here. That you have the NBA teams, you have the Charlotte Hornets, I believe you have the Washington Bullets, the Vancouver Grizzlies. It was around that time of 1996, 1997 when the game came out. It was using those rosters in that season. I don't know what the hell kind of shot I was shooting there. So you're going to see guys like Chris Webber, you're going to see Akeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler on the Rockets, the Knicks team, that's pretty good. The Chicago Bulls team, obviously at this point you did not have Michael Jordan in these games, even though it would have been the 96-97 season, 97-98 season, he would have been on the team. But as we all know, it took a couple of years later for the PlayStation and NBA Live to say, hey, we included Michael Jordan, but that was the Wizards version at the time. You didn't really have rights to Michael Jordan until you guys remember the NBA 2K 12 with Michael Jordan on the cover. That was the first time you were able to actually use him on next-gen systems and be able to do everything else. So all the other fantasy matchups and things like that will have to wait. And like NBA Jam, NBA Hangtime allows you to play as presidents. You can be Bill Clinton, you can be the donkey and the horse, the Republican Democratic symbols. You can have some kind of crazy teams like that. A game that was similar to this that came out for the next-gen systems on the 360 and PS3 especially was a revised NBA Jam. If you guys had not played that one on 360 and PS3, there was an NBA Jam Extended Edition, which allowed you to use the most current rosters. I think it had, at the time, it was Chauncey Billups and Carmelo Anthony on the Nuggets. That was a pretty good lineup to use. And it was pretty cool, because you can go ahead and you can use mascots, you can use NBA teams, you can use throwback teams, you can unlock a lot of different kind of things. So if you end up liking games like that, that was a good alley-oop there. If you like games like that, check out NBA Jam, the Extended Edition on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and NBA Hangtime and NBA Jam Tournament Edition and the regular NBA Jam for the Sega, the Super Nintendo. These were some good times. This is what you had basically in the mid-90s when you wanted to have an arcade-style basketball. As you guys know about the regular Nintendo, I believe it was Double Dribble and some of those other games like that, Arch Rivals. There was a few games like that were pretty fun. So back in the 90s especially, this was all the rage in terms of everything that you wanted of an arcade basketball game, and it was pretty good. A lot of people, like I said, dismiss this game as, carbon copy of NBA Jam. It's not going to be as much fun and all that, but fits the bill. And especially for what NBA Jam did not provide, especially even in the Tournament Edition for the Sega Genesis and Hangtime, you can create your own player. I believe you can make him look like a little baby or a lizard, because I think the iguana, whoever was on the cover for NBA Jam, you can be that guy. They kind of stole that. I think it was, Iguana Entertainment? I can't remember what the company was at the time. You can make everything look pretty weird. You can lock it on a passcode 4-number PIN number, and you can play against all the NBA teams to try to win. And then I think there was a couple other ones, like an all-star team and stuff like that. And you can actually build your stats, so you can end up playing your guy however you wanted to build him. If you wanted him to be an outside sharpshooter, if you wanted him to be inside, if you wanted him to just be a defensive specialist blocking shots, you could do all that stuff. Unfortunately, being able to use the emulator and all that stuff to show you this coverage of a game that I've had for a long time, you cannot use the create a player feature. You can actually use it, but you cannot progress. You cannot save it from match to match. And I don't know why that is. I think whatever ROM this was, or however the emulators were set, they did not have the RAM set up. So unfortunately, I cannot show you the create a player feature and build it up that right way, but it pretty much works the same way. And then as you go along, you can unlock hot spots like you can in NBA Jam and have fun with that. You can shoot 12-pointers, you can have unlimited turbo, all the codes that were in there. But this was just another port of an NBA Jam game, like I said, that a lot of people dismiss, but NBA Hangtime was pretty good, and it was a lot of fun. And especially if you get another player to play with you, or if you have a Sega Genesis multi-tap, you can play 4 players, and it's a lot of fun to be had. I just think it's kind of weird that this game comes from makers of Mortal Kombat and things like that. Let me know what you think. Facebook.com/TBUGunslinger, Twitter @JohnRyanot. What are your favorite old school sports games or arcade games. And as always, let me know what you think. And peace out, guys. Have a good one. I hope you enjoy the coverage here of NBA Hangtime. As you see, the injury in the left-hand corner, the red is not very good. That means these guys were pushed around a whole hell of a lot. You get the box score at the end of the game. You get your screenshots of the players. The graphics aren't that bad for a 16-bit system. Pretty fun game. Peace out, guys.